The Jamaica Customs Agency, being an agency of the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, is an organization that sees itself in striving towards being a global leader within customs administration globally. And in that sense, it means doing the best we can to position ourselves, not only the administration, but most importantly, Jamaica, as it relates to doing business and the ease of doing business, and to ensure that there is strong facilitatory instrument within the agency that can drive our mandate forward.
While many of our commercial ports, for the most part, are automated and have systems in place for the recording of vessel arrival, our outlying ports, which receive smaller pleasure crafts, are still operating on a manual basis. The RCS bridges that gap for us, in that it provides a safe, secure, online method of recording vessel arrival, passenger information, as well as crew information. Additionally, it provides us with an ability to search and to track vessels, crew, and passengers.
We are embarking on the repeal and replace of our Customs Act, and we intend to ensure that we have an instrument that is very facilitatory.
The current Customs Act dates from 1941. It has served us well, but it is an old piece of legislation. Since 1941, we have undertaken piecemeal amendments in 2004, I believe in 2003, and certainly in 2014, we did amendments to the legislation in order to facilitate the implementation of the ASICODA World Customs System, which is our electronic communication system. But never, of course, to the extent that we're doing now, which is a repeal and replacement of the legislation. It's a wholesale, comprehensive review of the legislation.
Now, in any customs administration globally, you need to have a proper legal instrument. And that legal instrument, though it is a tool for enforcement, it must also, above all, be a tool for facilitation. And so because we are very serious about it, we have made the necessary investments so far to ensure that we are creating a bill in partnership with our trade to ensure that we give them something that they so deserve.
The use of ICT, information communication technology, has been one of the key enablers for the customs reform. It really has changed our way of doing business. In applying automation, we have been able to deliver services in a far more efficient manner, and also transparency and accountability is one of those are two important aspects as we carry out our functions.
So what are our mandates? It speaks to trade facilitation, it speaks to border protection, in that protection of the society, protection of people, and protection of goods that travels through our borders. But it also speaks to revenue collection. And because of all those three mandates, we do take them seriously.
Across the region, we are seeing where organized crime is just that, very organized. They are more agile, they are quick to respond, and they have an immense amount of resources that law enforcement probably will never have. The ELO network serves as the central repository for regional intelligence information, wherein you have intelligence operatives in each participating country having direct contact with each other, thus creating a stronger chain. Because the old adage is true, a chain is as strong as its weakest link.
We're seen as a Caribbean island. We're seen sometimes as a small island state, but we don't see ourselves as small. We see ourselves as big among all the industrialized states. And because we see ourselves as that, it means that we have been placing strong efforts on modernization and reform to ensure that we meet our goals.
It's important for sister territories to have a grasp as to what is happening in each individual territory so that a better picture can be painted regionally. This will help and enhance the enforcement capabilities in each individual administration.
We view it as building on all the gains that we have made, As I said, that piece of legislation from 1941 has served us well. So we want to ensure that we retain those aspects of the legislation that have served us well, but we want to also ensure that we implement and introduce the international best standards that will allow us to go forward into the future.
Risk management is important to us, and we have from 2001 started a risk management unit.
We generally used to check every shipment or examine every cargo. Now, what we have realized that is not possible with the volume of international trade that is occurring. We realize that that is not feasible, and that is not the best approach to go. So the agency has seen it fit to implement risk management in its business processes.
We've taken a 360-degree look at risk management, not just to look at it from an operational perspective, but how do we build out in an enterprise-wide perspective.
Customs is a major part of the entire procedure for the clearance of cargo and passengers, but we're not the only agency that is involved. It entails the inclusion of other partnering regulatory agencies. We have about 20 different regulatory agencies that deliver services or approve documents that serve as either a precursor or a means of goods being imported within the country. What we have done is to extend to those agencies other components to include central means of applying risk management. In other words, identifying commodities or importers or suppliers that would be of interest both to us, customs, and the government agencies.
Risk management, when we look at it, is not just about who is doing the work, meaning the human resources, but what are the other threats to the work, and how can we effectively put systems in place to make sure that we are mitigating accordingly.
The major system that has been implemented here at Customs is the ASICUDA World Customs Management System. ASICUDA stands for Automated System for Customs Data, and that was, of course, developed by the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, more commonly known as UNCTAD. And so we embarked on a joint mission to develop a single customs management system to deliver all our services. Now, this includes all our services being provided in an online environment, which reduced, of course, the cost.
So basically what we're doing is we're looking at all of our traders, we're looking at our passengers, we're using our advanced passenger information and our advanced information to identify those persons who are deemed to be high risk, and as such we focus our efforts there. Whereas persons who are of a low risk nature, then we allow them easy clearance. In
so doing, we have extended varying components of the ASICUDA World System in delivery of our services. One of them, of course, is integration, whereby we receive the permits and licenses electronically from the government agencies. Another component is a centralized risk management for customs and these regulatory agencies to identify whether it be cargo or individuals or suppliers that are of interest, which will require further verification before final release to the public. So we have found that coordinating and, of course, partnering with these government agencies has also improved the efficiencies right across the board.
CCLEC's role in this regard is as a middleman. CCLEC acts as that central interface between administrations as it relates to the planning of enforcement operations, the collection and dissemination of trend data.
We want to ensure that our procedures are as efficient as possible. We want to ensure that we have the adequate legislative foundation to collect the revenue and protect our national borders, and of course, importantly, facilitate trade.
We want to ensure that our staff understand their role and understand it in a sense that we continue to engage the public, because customs have to understand the business of the trade. We have taken a very soft approach by engaging our trade, and stakeholder engagement is key to us. Stakeholder awareness is key to us.
In addition to standardizing our procedures and vetting operations, we have developed a vulnerability identification system that seeks to find gaps and loopholes in our procedures as well as our other systems in an effort to address them, fix them, and officially sensitize the staff as to what will obtain after that particular gap or loophole is fixed.
Trade facilitation is something that we are serious about at Jamaica Customs, as we are cognizant of the fact that cumbersome customs procedures and lengthy clearance process affects the turnaround time, and as such inhibit economic growth and development.
Within the risk management unit, we have also saw it fit to use tools to assist us in terms of what we do. We have developed our own risk register that not only looks at the operational aspects of the risk to the operation, but a holistic approach was taken to look at it enterprise-wide.
We have come and recognized that integrity for us is something that is taken very seriously. Integrity not only of the persons that we so employ, but integrity of our systems.
We have launched a very rigorous sensitization and awareness, anti-corruption and integrity lecture series here at Customs for the members of staff. We have done 98% of all the units within Jamaica Customs Agency, from Kingston to Montego Bay. We have a conversation about corruption with the units. We go unit by unit. So the setting is very relaxed. So persons can feel free to ask questions and to learn as much as they can.
New systems must be grounded in an adequate legislative framework. And certainly with respect to the enforcement of customs laws, it is important that the legal framework is there so that our officers are able to properly execute their duties, but importantly too, that the rights of citizens who will be impacted by the enforcement measures, that those rights are adequately protected, having regard to the fundamental rights and freedoms that we all enjoy.
It is also important that in this drive for global leadership, in this drive for modernization and reform, which is also a continuous mechanism, is that we build out on our automation.
The use of an automated warehouse inventory module, that was also included as another major component, and of course online payment facilities and automated workload assignments for the different custom sections, which would allow for a greater amount of transparency in terms of our service delivery.
So we're in a world of great automation. One is speaking about disruptive technology. One would have never known that e-commerce would have come about and taken up so much resources. And the newness of it means that customs too has to adapt to those changes.
So over time, we have established a number of initiatives. Some of the key ones, we have our night lodgement facility, which allows for the submission of declarations between the hours of 5:30 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. and it is guaranteed that you will get the documents processed by the commencement of the next business day.
We are in the development stages of our external public education program as it relates to integrity and anti-corruption, whereby we intend to incorporate some of our other public sector partners as well as our stakeholder fraternity and the public at large. If it is that we are going to make an effort to fight corruption, it has to be a unified approach. It cannot be just about customs.
We have also introduced immediate delivery regime, which allows for immediate clearance of perishable goods, goods that are for emergency, goods that are for restricted nature that requires immediate clearance. And
so this ecosystem would have allowed for us to communicate and deliver services in a far more efficient manner. And what we've seen since is that 85% of the declarations, the commercial declarations that have been submitted, are now being processed within a 24-hour period. And of course, we're looking to improve on that, but that is a drastic change compared to where we're coming from.
We look at what the World Customs Organization is saying. What are the research out there as it relates to these new and emerging trends? And we're making ourselves adapting to these technology by means of getting the necessary training, but also ensuring that the staff reflecting what is required of them.
Moving from a memorandum of understanding based organization to a treaty-based one not only facilitates or forces member administrations to pay much needed dues, but it also forces member administrations to bring their own individual legislation as it may regard data protection to a particular level.
The goal is to ensure that trade is efficiently facilitated ensure that our processes are transparent, that our traders have predictability, and that all our processes are fair. And I think that's what all our stakeholders want. That's what passengers want when they're coming through the airports. That's what importers want. They want fairness, they want efficiency.
Before the CCLEC came into existence, individual member administrations were operating in a siloed manner. What the CCLEC has done for the region is that it has now brought all these various customs administrations under one umbrella. And not only regionally, but it has also moved to foster relationships with international organizations. For example, the WCO, MIAC-N, and the World Trade Organization.
A lot is happening. We maintain that we are ready. We maintain that we continue to learn from what is happening, and we continue to coordinate not only with our local partners but also with our regional and international partners
such as the World Bank and from the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, through its Caribbean Regional Technical Assistance Center, CARTAC. They approach the process from the perspective of what is happening on the international stage. And of course, ultimately, we will then see how best to implement international standards locally.
CCLEC meetings provide that forum in which regional administrations can sit, discuss issues, formulate strategies, and have discussions to do with greater coordination and capacity building. So the benefit of CCLEC regionally is immense.
The Ministry of Finance and the Public Service or Parent Ministry has provided very important policy decisions that have guided the process, and generally they have just provided direction throughout the reform.
And it is through this avenue, through custom to customs partnership, but also customs to government partnership and customs to business partnership. Our role is changing. Customs is very dynamic. It's not a static environment. And so we too have to be very dynamic in our approach and how we treat with these matters.
The electronic processing of passengers has been seen as the next step. In fact, we're partnering now with PICA to improve our services jointly within the two international airports. By so doing, they have designed a web portal which will allow for arriving passengers, both nationals and non-nationals, to declare in advance to Customs and Immigration the full details of their trip.
We also have plans from the cargo side in terms of fully rolling out with our advanced passenger information APIS system so that we can be able to target our high-risk passengers as well, similarly how we do on the marine side.
Trade facilitation is an ongoing process, and here at Jamaica Customs we're always looking at our business processes to see how best we can introduce new measures and new initiatives that will drive the clearance process in a speedier manner.
We plan in very short order to embark on a MOU with the Jamaica Constabulary Force. We are going to be using our marine assets to form a joint marine unit. We'll also be reintroducing our K9 unit that has been absent for some time now to intercept firearms, drugs, ammunition, cigarettes, alcohol, as well as explosives.
Our next steps involves the implementation of the electronic single window for trade. The electronic single window will make available a single ecosystem whereby the trader will be applying only once and submitting documents electronically to multiple government agencies, right? All the needs of the agencies will be represented within the single ecosystem.
The motto of country above self is self-evident in the operations of the Jamaica Customs Agency's contraband enforcement team. It is the buffer between the movement of illicit products, whether into or out of the island, and the defense of the citizens of illicit substances transiting either into the domestic space or through our territorial waters.
We continue to take very seriously the role of border protection and enforcement and security, because while we want to facilitate and we will continue to facilitate, the threats are clear and present.
In carrying out an operation in this particular unit, it starts with our administration, the preparation of documents, search warrants, the assembly of the team, giving operational warnings. It kind of morphs into the agencies that we would like to collaborate in such an operation.
When we go the route of a treaty, member administrations are going to be bound by law to uphold the tenets of that treaty. One of the major tenets of the CCO is information sharing. Member administrations must all be on even keel as it relates to domestic laws around data privacy and security. That is a major advantage of moving from a MOU-based organization to a treaty-based organization.
It is a continuous role that we do, and we are mindful of the needs of the public, the needs of the trade. We take very keen efforts in how we treat stakeholder information, stakeholder awareness, and sensitization internally. Our own staff, as an internal stakeholder, are to themselves very much sensitized about what is going on. And we take that again very seriously in how we push our mandate to ensure that they get the necessary training and capacity building in that area.
Working along with our international, regional and local partners, we have made several interceptions. Since 2019, we have made significant seizures to include 21 firearms plus ammunition, and we have also found 109 kilograms of cocaine in a container coming out of Venezuela, transiting through Jamaica.
What we have done now with the assistance of our automated system, Asicoda World, is that declarations are channeled to respective lanes. So it affords our clients, as well as the Jamaica Customs Agency, to plan in terms of its resource allocation in terms of where staff members are needed the most. Also for our clients, they are able to track their declarations to see which units it's assigned to. In that way, it has assisted both the Jamaica Customs Agency and also our clients in terms of service delivery.
In fact, we have over 5,000 registered users for the Asicoda World system. Of course, the benefits comes in cost reduction. In the faster movement of goods or increased fluidity at the ports, there's also reduced cost. And of course, in reducing costs, it reduces the cost of goods that is actually being delivered to the average importer.
Traders are now in a position where they can speak to customs directly on matters that affect them, knowing that their concerns will be addressed in a very timely manner.
And it requires the drive of the staff within the agency to ensure that we accomplish these mandates. But how do we resource them? It is through automation. It is through ensuring that they're effective standard operating procedure. It is through stakeholder engagement. It is through having a strong program of integrity within our organization to ensure that we continue on that drive.
We are committed to the principles and the concept of trade facilitation, which speaks to predictability, simplification, transparency, and harmonization. And as such, we continue to ensure that we offer the best customer service to our clients.
We welcome the support of our importing public as well as our industry players. I believe with that strong partnership, we will be successful in the fight against corruption and maintaining integrity within our country.
The agency is moving to ensure that we have a fully paperless environment. Persons will tend to see less paper, but our objective is a fully paperless environment. A prime example of that is, of course, advanced rulings for both classification and origin for persons who intend to do business with us here in Jamaica. We also are going to be making available an electronic means for appealing a customs ruling, which someone may be dissatisfied with. So as we progress, we are aligning ourselves with international best practice to ensure that these services are made available.
This reform process, I would say, is overdue. But now is a good time. A lot is happening on the international stage with respect to trade. And certainly it fits in with the Jamaica Customs Agency playing its part in achieving Vision 2030, which is to allow Jamaica to become the place of choice to live, work, and raise families. And the Jamaica Customs Agency has a key role in driving the economy so that that goal can be achieved.
Another service that we'll be making available is Customs app. Of course, it will speak to everything customs. This will be our means of communicating to you any recent information, changes, business rules, procedures, and our expectations as you engage our officers, whether it be as a passenger or an importer of goods.
If you're in customs, you will see it's not an easy work to do. And I love to quote Buju Banton, it's not an easy road, but somebody has to do it. And I'm a proud member of the Jamaica Customs Agency. I'm a proud member of the global customs across the world, and will continue to find my own way through my team members to ensure that we positively contribute to the wider customs administration regionally, locally, and internationally.
As we transition from an MOU-based organization to a treaty-based one, the Jamaica Customs Agency remains committed to the principles and tenets which have served this organization for these many years. We are a regional entity, but our vision is to have a global impact. The Jamaica Customs Agency stands ready and willing to assist in realizing this dream.
We continue to ensure that we modernize and reform accordingly to meet the ever-present demand of international trade, travel, and transport.